Hello, Dr. O. I'd like to ask you a question relating to the mistakes that you've made as a property investor. I guess what would be really helpful if you could give me 3 tips for building a property investor related to the team. What mistakes have you made when you started building your power team that you talk about?
Michael, this is such a great question, and I have to say that I made a lot of mistakes in this particular area at the beginning. In fact, the very first property that I bought with a business partner, and we didn't have a power team. We just tried to do everything ourselves, and there were a lot of, let's just say, small mistakes that added up. And one of the first mistakes that we made was to get the wrong accountant. We made the classic mistake of finding an accountant that was very local to us, who my business partner knew very well because he dealt with his Indian restaurant. I didn't know this guy at all. He knew nothing about property investing. And in fact, when we started to build our portfolio and we bought the first 10 to 20 properties, he seemed almost scared by the fact that we were buying so many, which should have been an alarm bell for me immediately. So one of the first things I highly recommend that you do, Michael, is if you're building this as a big business, if you're looking to build a large portfolio, is find an accountant who is ideally referred to you by another investor, someone that's used this accountant, that's comfortable with them, and ideally the accountant themselves should be a property investor. That's an important question to ask them when you first sit down and decide to engage them. In fact, if they're not an investor themselves, which really they should be, as a bare minimum, they should at least have clients who are property investors and ideally have covered the areas, the strategies that you're going to develop in your portfolio, whether it's basic buy-to-lets, HMOs, developments, etc. So make sure that when you talk to the accountant, you find out a bit of history and background and their experience with investors.
Wow, that's shocking. So getting a great accountant, that's definitely worth me looking into. What would be a second tip then related to the power team?
Okay, the second area in terms of your power team where I would say people make mistakes, and I certainly made mistakes in the beginning, was finding the right letting agent. Now, letting agents are like the lower to middle management in your company. They are the people that deal frontline with your properties, with your tenants. Bad letting agent equals badly run business and also problems. I know from my own personal experience, I had a lot of properties in South Wales. I think between myself, my business partner, my family, we had maybe 20, 25 plus properties in the South Wales area. And unfortunately, we took all of our properties to a letting agent there who, it turned out, wasn't the best letting agent. They didn't reveal to us a lot of information about how the properties were. And the consequences were that it cost us money in the early days. And the reason it cost us money is because they weren't relaying accurate information to us about how the properties were operating, the type of tenants they were putting in. These were properties that were 3 or 4 hours away from us, and I didn't put enough due diligence in to find a good letting agent. And to be fair, I didn't have access to the network I have today. So now we use a letting agent that is also run by a property investor who is a property mentor in the same area, do a cracking job, and that's very, very important. So I would certainly take the time to find investors that you trust within your network who have properties in a specific area and go to them and ask them if they can refer you to a good letting agent. And you need to know how to interview the letting agent, the right questions to ask them so that you grill them, because ultimately you are engaging them. You're going to pay them to look after your properties, your portfolio, and you'll want the right team on your side.
Oh, I've heard so many people talk about just get yourself a letting agent, it'll be no problem. But actually, what I'm realising is it's really important to get my strategy right first. I don't have my first property, you see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to go away and work out what strategy I want to do first and then choose the letting agent according to that strategy. Thank you so much.
Haha, Michael, it's great to hear you using the term strategy there. And that kind of leads me to the last person that you're going to need to get early into your power team. Most people wait too long for this, and that is finding the right mentor, finding someone that can guide you at an early stage to avoid you falling into the pitfalls that early investors make. In fact, A mentor should be used all along your path, but certainly at the start, having somebody guide you early. And when I refer to guiding, literally it comes down to what you're looking to achieve and matching yourself with the right mentor, someone that's been on the same path, that's done the same strategies as you, and also someone that is actually in a position to be able to guide you and teach you in such a way that it allows you to accelerate your business rapidly without the mistakes typically that newbies make. So certainly that's somebody you need to start to consider having a good mentor. One thing I would warn you about is choosing a mentor that hasn't had a lot of experience. Sometimes people choose a friend or a mate or possibly someone that's out there advertising themselves on social media a lot and they've only been around the game for a year or two. And the problem with that is they haven't ridden out through different market conditions. They haven't had the breadth and the depth of experience. So in choosing the mentor, choose someone that you can see's been around a while, had some good experience and knows the market.
Oh, Dr. O, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your guidance on this. I do need a mentor. I realise that. I've tried stuff in the past, it hasn't worked. So I'm going to go in, establish what my strategy is before I do anything, and then definitely go on and learn some more information and get myself a mentor. But so much thanks for giving me this guidance, and I'll be finding a good letting agent, a good mentor, and a good accountant. Thank you.
My pleasure, Michael. The most important thing is get out there, put some action in, and enjoy the journey.